Not great.
Okay, it's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Mr. President, I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
President Zelensky said today that his country would risk either giving up a partner or giving up its dignity. There's been criticism that this deal proposal...
He doesn't like it?
It's unclear. He was sort of tenuous about it.
He'll have to like it. And if he doesn't like it, then, they should just keep fighting, I guess,
The suggestion that he made, though, was that if he doesn't accept it...
Donald Trump is too dumb to know what a fascist is? No. No. That right there is actually deflating the term fascism. The reason, Donald Trump in that moment is basically saying, yeah, you don't have to, he's saying, he's giving Zoran an out and saying, you don't have to back away from your position here and make yourself look bad. You're already you're a winner. This is your moment in the spotlight. I don't really care about this term at all. They just call me that, just like they call me racist, but it doesn't mean anything. Okay? That's most likely his belief system here. That's like, he's basically saying like, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. It's not true, but it is what it is type of situation. Which is still pretty fucked up. It's not that he has no clue what it means. He knows what it means, chatters. He's just saying he doesn't mind being perceived as such. Partially because he thinks this is a game. It's a very cynical way to approach the subject. But he's just like, yeah, it's just a game. You're playing your song and dance. I'm playing my song and dance. It is what it is, right? You're wrong. Trump is just looking at it as a bad word for politicians. Okay.
That the U.S. would pull back its support for Ukraine. Is that
Well, at some point he's going to have to accept something. He hasn't accepted. You remember right in the Oval Office not so long ago, I said, you don't have the cards. Don't forget, I inherited this war. This war never would have happened. I inherited this war. And I thought he should have made a deal a year ago. 2 years ago. The ultimate deal would have been if it never started. That would have been the good deal. That could have been done too if you had the right president, but you didn't have the right president.
Mr. President, the cost of living is something that you and Mr. Mamdani seem to agree on. Democrats have run New York City for a long time, Mr. Mamdani. Do you see Democrat policy specifically as being a problem? And I'd like that be a question that both of you could answer in New York City.
Look, I think that there are many things in our city where we have to own the responsibility of it, things that existed long before the president was the president. And those are also part of the message of our campaign, was to take on a broken politics of the past. And I ran against a number of candidates who represented different versions of that past. And what we found time and again is that working people were left behind in the politics of our city. And what we're looking to do is put those people right back at the heart of our politics so that we don't have a situation where we're in the wealthiest city in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 5 can't even afford $2.90 for a Metro card.
Mr. President,
He's sticking up to him, isn't he? Zoran wins the election during his speech. During his elected speech, he insults Trump, and now he's standing beside him like a wet chicken. He clearly doesn't have a character. What are you talking about? One, he's not even the mayor yet. He's the mayor-elect. Two, Donald Trump hasn't done anything to undermine New Yorkers under the Zohran Mamdani mayoral reign yet. Obviously, you're gonna fucking play nice to hopefully stave off any kind of like negative policy making that the White House is going to engage in terms of undermining the affordability agenda of Zohran Mamdani, right? What matters here is what he does after Donald Trump starts, sending ICE agents to New York.
We had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. But a big thing on cost, the new word is affordability.
This saved Thanksgiving across America. Yeah, so close to Thanksgiving. A lot of you guys are going to have a really funny time with your relatives. After months and months of Zohran Mamdani is a communist, it's terrifying. He's really bad. Donald Trump just basically deflates a year's worth of insane negative commentary and coverage from Fox News with one single meeting, with one single light tap on the shoulder. Donald Trump just basically came in and was like, no, this guy is handsome, he's funny, he's charismatic, he's going to do well. He calls himself a communist. It's all right. He calls me a fascist. I'm all right with that. We're just playing politics, right? Come on. We both love affordability, don't you think? This is aura. Okay? This is just fucking, there's no other way to put it. You got a 34-year-old anti-Zionist, Muslim, socialist mayor of New York that was called a fucking terrorist, anti-Semitic terrorist, Islamist jihadist every single fucking day. And he won so resoundingly against a lot of his ops in the media, against a lot of the ops in the establishment Democrats, and of course the entirety of the right wing, that Donald Trump has to sit there and try to take some of his shine. Because plenty of mayors win elections. Donald Trump is not inviting them to the fucking White House to talk to them, and to talk to them like this. You have to think, why is Donald Trump doing this? The reason why Donald Trump is doing this is because he wants a little bit of that. He wants a little bit of that motion. Okay? That's it. He's low-key clout chasing Zohran Mamdani at a time when he recognizes his base of support is withering away. That's crazy. Were all the Fox News commentators saying that Zohran was ammo for the right? What is the right going to say about him? I mean, they're going to go back to it. Trump is going to go back to it. Trump is going to talk about how Zohran is a fucking scary communist. It's really interesting, though, because I brought this up during the election as well, which is Donald Trump was obviously very aggressive about Zohran when he was running for office, but he wasn't as racist about Zohran Mamdani, ironically enough, as Andrew Cuomo was, as fucking Kirsten Gillibrand was. Kirsten Gillibrand says Zohran Mamdani wants to do Islamic jihad and kill all the Jews. Donald Trump never said that. Think about that. Isn't that fucking insane? I brought it up throughout the election cycle. I was like, Donald Trump, partially because of all of his dealings with, all the Gulf leaders and whatnot, he sees Muslims as like magic money men. He was less aggressive about Zohran's background. He was less aggressive about Zohran's background during the election than fucking establishment Democrats were. Some establishment Democrats were way more racist about Zohran. It's crazy to think. I also do love this because this meetup, I'm sorry, this meetup absolutely bricks the brains of Hosberists. I cannot fucking comprehend how Trump likes Mamdani more than most of the Democratic Party leadership. Zoran did the genial leftist relative on Thanksgiving thing where you pulled a I don't like liberals either card and are just super vague about everything else. I mean, yeah. Yeah. That is I mean, that's the reason why like Austin always tells me like his uncle loves some of my commentary, right? Because I'm always like, yeah, I don't like Nancy Pelosi. Republicans love when I rip on liberals. They don't understand that I'm ripping on liberals because of their closeness to the Republicans. But I think ultimately it's more like I don't like it's beyond I don't like liberals either. Because I don't think Zoran dislikes liberals. I think Zoran likes liberals. He's fucking closer to liberals than even someone like myself is. I have nothing against Zoran, but from my perspective, this seems so cringe. Okay, well, he has an obligation to serve 8.8 New York City. He has an obligation to serve the 8.8 million populated city of New York. Those are his constituents. So you might consider it to be cringe, but that's his job. Okay? When you hit 30, you are chopped. You are cringe, but you are free. Thank you. I agree.
The word is just groceries. You know, it's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate. And they're coming down high. They were, you know, we had, both of us, we had the highest inflation in the history of our country the last 4 years under...
You're blinded by IDPOL? Me? Blinded by IDPOL? What is the identity politics here? I like that it's everybody in this community basically calling each other liberals and rad libs and saying, like, accusing one another of doing identity politics, when I think my analysis on this is pretty sober. When I see something that Zoran is doing that I disagree with, I call it out, as I have this past week. Not that long ago. I've done it yesterday. I did it earlier in the morning. And when I think that there's something normal that's taking place here that's actually objectively good for the left, or objectively good in terms of Donald Trump basically destroying a year's worth of insane sentiment. Oh, wait, that guy was trying to say that because of my background, you don't think he's backsliding into the Democratic Party? Wait, explain what you mean by this? Are you trying to say, are you implying that, you know, I'm not being critical enough of Zoran because he's Muslim? Is that what you think? You think it's the Ummah? Am I doing a little bit of taqiyya, dude? Is that... I'm confused. The fuck? You repeatedly say you like him because he's a 34-year-old socialist. Okay. This is not identity politics, you fucking baboon. I think there's a different reason why you would say IDPOL. That's ideology. The fuck? And Muslim, yes. Interesting. But only because you bring it up. So what was it when I said that I disagree with Zoran, and I think it's because he's green that he should not have immediately came out and petitioned against Chi Ose running? Was I able to break through the shackles of identity politics, chatter? You think I give a fuck about someone being Muslim? Okay, Mehmet Öz is literally not only fucking Muslim, but also Sunni Muslim and Turkish. Okay. Do you think I like Dr. Oz? His name is my dad's name. Like, there's no more. I feel a sense of closeness. I must feel a sense of closeness to Dr. Oz, don't you think? He's Turkish. He's Muslim. You know? Why does it not work in the same way? I wonder if there's other considerations at play here, you know? All right, I was wrong, and I'm sorry for the generalization, but I still think the backsliding and we're not being critical enough. You're wrong. I am being critical of Zohran. Calm down. Also, everybody, it's fine. It's fine. It's a little bit of a microaggression. Who gives a shit? Okay, stop being offended on my behalf. I don't give a shit. I do think it's funny. Okay, it's all right. He didn't realize what he was saying and doing. Hopefully, maybe he can like scratch the surface of the implicit biases that he's operating with. But you know, everyone has to dial it back a little bit.
The Biden administration, and we've got inflation down now to a normal number. It's going to go even a little bit lower than that. Katie, do you have something?
Mr. President, thank you so much. Mr. Mamdani often talks about New York City being covered by international law, that they will follow international law. Doesn't often talk about the U.S. Constitution. What is your response to that?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to in terms of it can be covered by international law, local law. It's covered by a lot of laws, but it's covered by U.S. law. Are you referring to anything in particular?
He just says that they're a city that endorses and enforces international law. Is that at odds with
No,
U.S.
I don't
law?
know. Would you want to? Do you want to respond?
Yeah, I think what I've shared with the president is our desire to not only follow the laws of our own city, laws that protect New Yorkers, but also a desire for consistency in our politics across the board. And that's something that we've talked about and something that I know many New Yorkers want.
So you work with ICE? We work with ICE then?
We discussed ICE and New York City, and I spoke about how the laws that we have in New York City allow for New York City government to speak to the federal administration for about 170 serious crimes. The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
Mr. Mamdani,
What we did is we discussed crime. More than ICE per se, we discussed crime. And he doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime. And I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. He wants to, and he said some things that were very interesting as to housing construction, and he wants to see houses go up. He wants to see a lot of houses created, a lot of apartments built, etc. And you know, we actually.
Oh yeah, it's swanky as hell. He has a unique eye for talent. Trump loves winners. He has a unique eye for talent. And he knows this will make the establishment Dems look horrible. He'll continue calling Zohran a communist. He'll continue calling Zohran a communist the next day. But for now, your hotel rooms are getting progressively smaller from Beijing to Hong Kong. That's true. You haven't gotten to the best parts? I'm going to get to the best parts. I have to tweet as well. He's going to switch up on Zohran just like he did with Hamas and the Houthis after praising them. Yeah. But for the time being, let's enjoy the show. You know what I mean? Let's enjoy this gets better. Yes. I saw some clips of this. It's fucking crazy. Like the clip I saw was when he was like, you can say it. Like Zohran past 10 days in the People's Republic. That's the timing I'm on right now. Okay. I'm like a hunting dog, coach. Put me in. How would you rank your trips? I mean, this was such an incredible trip, dude. It was such a fucking incredible trip. I love China. Like, it's so sick. If you have spent enough time in this community, by the way, I will say visiting China is not going to surprise you too much. There are some aspects of China that will surprise you, I guess. But like when you visit China, you'll be like, oh, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be like. And it's mostly positive. How excited are you to be coming back to the good old USA? Oh, come on. And if you don't have any sort of, if you have been, if you have a lot of negative opinions about China, you will get whiplash. If you have negative opinions about China, if you're on like mainstream media time on China, you will be like, what the fuck is this? What the absolute fuck is going on? Now you see the contrast between mainland China and Hong Kong. You should understand what capitalism under the one country, two systems policy has brought to Hong Kong, and the impact of former colonial rule in the city is still quite severe. But don't worry, the policy of keeping Hong Kong capitalism unchanged for 50 years is only 20 years left. I don't even know how that integration will work, for the record. I was thinking about this quite a bit last night. But let's get to Zohran. Let's continue doing Zohran, and I'll give you my thoughts on that as well. But you're not wrong. 20 years ago, Hong Kong was by liberal capitalists. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, Hong Kong was probably seen as like a shining beacon of light, like what China could be like if they only had those good Western values, you know what I mean, in comparison to mainland China. And now, when you go from mainland China to Hong Kong, you see when you go from mainland China to Hong Kong, like we did, you realize like, oh my God, capitalism has made things stagnant. Capitalism is like central planning. Capitalism, socialism, doesn't matter. Like central planning and actual interest in like improving people's material conditions have dramatically improved the lives, and have actually dramatically improved mainland China to a degree where Hong Kong looks like you're inside of a time machine. It's crazy. Anyway, let's continue.
A little bit on getting the prices, because, you know, we've gotten fuel prices way down, but it hasn't shown up in Con Edison. And we're going to have to talk to them. You know, if we're sending them fuel at a much lower price than it was a year ago, which is true, we have to get Con Edison to start lowering the rates.
Absolutely.
And if I may, last week you told me you were pushing ahead with your plans to sue the BBC for up to $5 billion. You're going to speak to Prime Minister Starmer as well. Is there any progress or any updates on those issues?
Well, we get along very well with the Prime Minister. We made a deal with UK. I like him. He's a fine person. And, you know, I think they have some big energy problems. You know, they've got windmills all over the place. They're going to have to start using other methods because their energy is out of control.
Should Mamdani be cozying up to Trump, though? He's not cozying up to Trump, man. Trump is the president. Zohran Mamdani is the fucking mayor of New York. Trump is the president of the United States of America, which also happens to be the president of New York City, okay? When you are the president, it's kind of like the mayor, but for everyone. Okay. Since we have an interesting way of analyzing things here, I'll simplify it for you. Zohran Mamdani is the mayor of 8.8 million New Yorkers. Donald Trump is kind of like the mayor, but for 330 million Americans, right? Which includes Zohran Mamdani, for the record. Still doesn't justify platforming, though. Okay, you guys need to stop playing around, please. Please stop.
About in the UK is out of control, and he's got that problem. He's got a big immigration problem, as you know, and he's got a big energy problem. And we talk about it. He's a good man. Prime Minister's a good man.
You have a chance to speak this week.
I haven't spoken this week.
Have you spoken to President Zelensky, or do you intend to meet with him, President Zelensky, about your plan? Are you going to meet with him?
I've spoken with their people. We have a plan. It's horrible what's happening. It's a war that should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president, and it's a shame. And I thought they should have acted quicker. But it's a cold winter, and a lot of the you talk about utilities, but a lot of the big energy producing plants have been under attack, to put it mildly, to put it nicely. We have a way of getting peace, or we think we have a way of getting peace. He's going to have to approve it. Just so sad, so many people. You know, last month they lost 25,000 soldiers. This is something, we haven't seen anything like this since the Second World War. And they're averaging 6,000 or 7,000 a week between the two of them, dead soldiers. And it goes on, and I think they're getting reasonably close. But
you are getting jealous of Trump, admit it. Maybe it's because I'm in Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is so beautiful too. But I am a little excited to get back home and just kind of whip my life back into shape and whip this community back into shape as well, because 17-hour streams every single day has unironically made it much more difficult for me to just get a good grasp on what everyone is saying and doing. I do love the fun streams, but people have been just fucking acting out, being unfreaking bearable. Chat is always as it is. It's your perspective and what you focus on that's changed. Ironic, because I'm doing it right now when I read this person, and there's truth to that for sure. I think it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. And for the record, I'm not gonna take a vacation to do a reset after this, because I'm instantly going to Ireland. I'm going to Ireland the beginning of December.
I don't want to predict. I would have said that would have been one of my early ones. I did 8 peace deals of countries,
with the blokes,
including in India, Pakistan. You could even go, in fact, they're coming here in a week or two, go to the Congo and Rwanda. That was 10 million people dead, and we worked something out on that. But so many. And the one I thought would have been, for me, because I have a very good relationship with President Putin, I thought that would have been maybe quicker. But it does take 2 to tango. And now you just see all the death. And, it doesn't affect us other than the fact that we don't want to see all those people dead. Really, it's on the other side of the ocean. It's a war that should have never happened. It did happen. I blame the person also sitting right behind this desk. This is a war that should have never happened. And it wouldn't have happened if I were president. But we're trying to save a lot of lives. They're losing 25,000 lives over the last short period of time. That's Ukrainian and Russian. And it's a shame.
What happens if President
I want to ask the mayor-elect about a House resolution. It just passed overwhelmingly to condemn socialism, including with 86 Democrats, all of House Dem leadership, and the Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I focused very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing...
Condemn socialism.
I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand. I can tell you I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist. And your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Mr. President, I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
I don't mind. That's crazy. I have to play that back. The arm pat. No, you can call me a fascist. I don't mind. What the fuck? What the fuck? That is the craziest part about it. This is probably the craziest part.
It's easier.
Positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
From here, Trump starts bouncing the right-wing reporters off left and right. Donald Trump stepped in front of the fascism question for him. Like, what is going on? I mean, there's also obviously like a terrifying prospect to this. It's unique because Donald Trump literally defends Zohran Mamdani there for calling him a fascist. It's also weird and scary because why the fuck is Donald Trump openly being like, yeah, I am a fascist? That part is not